Hi Tulip friends, we are the Pretty Life Girls. We're so excited to be taking over Tulip's YouTube page today to show you how to make an ice dye apron.
My name is Sam.
And I'm Liz.
And we blog at prettylifegirls.com. You can also find us on YouTube at The Pretty Life Girls. We would love for you to subscribe and join us over there. Today we are going to be using this ice dye kit to make an apron. And we are obsessed with tie-dye. We love it very, very much. In fact, we wrote a book about it. This is our book that came out in May, DIY Guide to Tie-Dye Style. We use Tulip a ton in this, and there are some really fun, bright, colorful, doable projects that anyone can make.
20 of them.
Yes, and they're modern and grown up and beautiful, and we love them.
We love them.
So this apron is going to be also grown up, beautiful, and modern.
Yes.
Because these kits make it so easy.
Yes.
They have beautiful color schemes, colors already picked out for you. You can always use your own colors if you want. This is just Tulip's one-step tie-dye, but the colors are already so good.
Yes, and if you haven't done ice dye before, it's probably in our top 3 favorite
So
methods.
fun.
The results are so beautiful, and we love this color scheme. It's kind of like a galaxy color scheme, which will lend itself perfectly to ice dye because it really blends the colors so you want to have. Keeping to like a cool, all cool colors or all warm colors will make it so that your blend will be really lovely. So we're really excited to see how it turns out.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's start by opening the Tulip one-step ice dye kit so I can show you what is inside. If you open it up, it's got your instructions here. Take this top part off. And you have 4 different colors that will go beautifully together naturally, which is one of our favorite parts of these Tulip kits, is they always do such good colors so you don't have to worry about them turning muddy or anything like that. So we have our colors. We have some gloves, some rubber bands, and a tray to do our dyeing on. So these are just normal Tulip tie-dye that you could fill up with water to the fill line and shake it and apply it normally. But for ice dye, we just use the powder. So we don't need to fill up with water or anything. We're gonna go ahead and set up our space here. So I have my dedicated tie-dye container. I wrote tie-dye in it because I don't want to accidentally use it for food or something. So then we'll put our rack in. You can use like a baking wire rack dedicated to tie-dye. It's just important with ice dye that the material you're dyeing is raised up a bit so that it doesn't sit. So we're just gonna put this inside of our container. And then we have our apron here. This is just a cotton apron. And what we want to do is scrunch it on top of our rack. The tighter you scrunch your material, the more white you will have. So just keep that in mind when you're doing it. This one is dry. If you do it on a damp surface, then you will get more spreading. I like to do ice dye dry because the ice brings in plenty of moisture. You can also bind your material with binding techniques. So if you wanted to do a spiral, you could do that. If you wanted to do stripes or a bullseye or any of those traditional binding techniques, you can use rubber bands and do that. I'm just going to scrunch mine into a cluster. And I have a little trick for this. So this is a very DIY tip here, but something that is really helpful is to have something like this that will contain your ice. So this is just some plastic sheeting that I had left over from some vinyl, and I'm just gonna tape it into a circle. I've seen people do this. They'll use cardboard. I've seen people use an old springform pan, like for cheesecake, and you'll see why this is helpful. Okay, I'm just taping mine, and then I'm gonna sit it right on top of my rack. And with our ring here, we can just take our apron, and I'm gonna scrunch it. Let me move this for a second so you can see. I am just gonna bunch it up. Very fancy. But like I said, if you wanted, you could bind it into a spiral or a bullseye, whatever look you're going for. Okay, so then I'm gonna pick this up and I'm gonna shove it into this ring. And depending on the size of whatever you're dyeing, you'll have to adjust your little ring guy. I'm gonna tuck this in. Okay, so this is so helpful because when you go to put ice on, it's all gonna stay within here. If you scrunched it and sat it on the tray and then tried to put ice on, you'd have it falling off to the sides. And that can be hard, especially when you want dye to get to the very edges. So this is just a little trick that helps keep the ice contained. So now we can take our colors, and you can put dye on under the ice and you can put dye on over the ice. You could do one or the other, you could do a combination. So we're gonna do a little bit of both. So I'm gonna start by doing just a little bit of color under. Oh, let me put gloves on. And all I'm gonna do is just tap a tiny bit in a few spots. I am being very random about this. You could be more methodical and do sections in certain colors or whatever. I like to just see what happens with it organically. Then I'm gonna just take my ice and cover the whole thing. And see how this just holds the ice right in place. It makes it so much easier. Okay, the more ice you put on, the more it will run through the fabric. I like to just do a light layer, and then I'm going to come back with my dyes and do another layer, another little sprinkle of dye on top. And what will happen is as the ice melts, it will mix with the dye and then run through the fabric and make almost like a watercolor effect. And you won't believe how the colors mix and make new colors. It's so fun to watch. At this point, this is the hardest part because you have to wait. So you can take it outside into the sun, which I'm gonna do because it's a warm sunny day and it will speed it up. You can use a blow dryer, just be super careful, or a heat gun, and get the ice completely melted. So I'm gonna take mine outside and then I will bring it back when it's all melted and we will see what we have. Okay, so this is what it looks like when the ice is all melted. So then we can go ahead and take it out and open it and look at it. Look at that. It is so pretty. If you are okay with lighter, more pastel colors, you can go ahead and just rinse it and wash it. Or if you want it to be really bold, then put it in a bag or a container of some kind and let the dye set. But we're gonna go ahead and rinse and wash it, and we will show you what it looks like when it's all done.
If you like this video, we would love it if you came over to our page, that's Pretty Life Girls on YouTube, and subscribe to our channel. There's tons of tie-dye there and lots of other attainable crafts projects, and we'd love it if you followed along. Thank you so much for watching.